Hey everybody, welcome back if you're returning, welcome if you're new here. My name is Krista, and I always forget to say all the YouTube stuff, so like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. I just start yabbering and I completely forget, but it does help the channel grow and help get my message out. Um, Truly, I'm really just trying to offer some support in a world where we don't get near as much as we need. And also, um, I wrote a book. It's Get Your Shit Together. That's why we have shit to ponder. That's why the channel's kind of shit oriented. That and I, I don't know. I'm just who I am, and that's how I deliver my message. But it's very much in line with the sarcasm and spots of profanity. However, it's an altered version of a coaching course that I did about reprogramming your subconscious mind to live your best life. Um, what I like to do is take what would be dry, complex psychological concepts, break it down into layman's terms, and then give you like useful things that you can do every day to change your habits. Because our habits are what create everything in our lives. Our day to day habits are so powerful. And unfortunately, we usually develop habits once and then just keep rinse and repeating them and not understanding why things aren't changing in our lives. It's because we're still doing the same thing. So, anyway, we're going to get our topic for today. And I've been using the Rebel deck because it really suits me. It is so in line with the whole sarcasm thing. Let's see what our topic is for today. What do we got? What do we got? There we go. Hey, stop obsessing. You are not the fucking center of the universe. And we all need to hear that from time to time. For real. How many times do we just completely overreact to something minor? When you say something stupid, and it's not like the entire human civilization is going to fall off the map because you made a fool of yourself. If anything, capitalize on it. If you make a fool of yourself, go big, right? We all do it. I am the queen of making a fool of myself and capitalizing on it. If I trip in public and fall down, I jump up and say, ta-da! As if the 30 people that hadn't been paying attention now know that I fell down. Why not? Laugh at it, right? Nothing is as big as we make it out to be in our head, even our life situations. And the last thing that's going to help us to resolve it is to obsess over it. Even if you're a creative person, you know this intellectually, and you probably are like me in a lot of ways where when I'm writing and I get to a point where I just can't think of anything else, the best possible thing that I can do is get up and walk away from it. Go for a walk, do something completely different. When we're obsessing over something, we're not going to find the answer. We're just not. We're too hyper focused on it. And so, if you have something that's been bothering you, a problem that you just can't seem to find the solution to, let it go for a minute. Whatever it takes. If you're a physical person, go for a walk, go for a run, go swimming. If you like to garden, go play in the dirt. If you don't like to garden, go play in the dirt. It's fun. Go do some completely random activity, and the more the activity appeals to you, the better, because when you're doing something that you can engage with, that you really enjoy, you get in that flow state, and that's where your best ideas come from. Albert Einstein actually gave the advice, and he has a quote, and I'm going to completely jack it up because it's not right in front of me, but basically, he could think about something 99 times and not find the answer. When he quit thinking about it, the answer would come to him. Because when we have something like that that's in our mind, that's kind of whirling around in there, if we can release that, our mind is still working on it, just not up here, where it's keeping us busy. It's back here, and it's processing. And especially when we sleep, if you have a problem that you've been working through or trying to find a solution to, and it's just not coming, when you go to bed, put it out there. Help me find a solution. What do I need to do? What is the best step I can take in this? What one thing could I do to change this situation? Imagine beautiful outcomes. It may not be actually relevant to the problem itself, but where you want your life to go, what you want it to look like, how you want to feel in your day-to-day life. Think about that as you fall asleep. Really picture what you desire as your best life. What would that look like in the day-to-day? What would that feel like? And have that in your mind as you go to sleep. Keep a notepad by your bed. Because while you're sleeping, your brain is in the subconscious. Your brain is doing so much processing. And you may wake up with the answer. Write it down. Because sometimes those answers are fleeting. And we'll think we're going to remember it later, but we don't. Have you ever had a dream that when you wake up it was so vivid? Like you could recall every detail of it. And later in the day when you try to think back, it's hazy. You can't remember. Our dreams will speak to us. The work of Carl Jung is fascinating. And he really got into the subconscious and dream interpretation. Our dreams are very relevant to our reality. And because our subconscious works in images, there's symbolism in dreams that we may not understand at first. We may not make the connection, like it doesn't quite click for us. Like there's something there, we know there's something there, but what's it really mean? If you write that down while it's still fresh in your mind, then revisit it, sometimes you can make that connection. Someone actually shared with me a dream, a recurring dream that they had. And this is a person who's never worked in an office. You know, that's not an environment that they would be in. They're out of place in an office environment. And for some reason in this dream, they were in an office. It was like they worked there, which is completely not their thing. And even though they knew they were out of place, they were still there. They had this dream every night, every night, every night. Someone would come up and shoot them in the chest and they'd wake up. Well, the bigger picture in this person's life at the time was they had a spouse who was having an affair. And subconsciously, they knew something was wrong. Their mind was trying to tell them that they were not in the right place, that they were going to get hurt, they were going to be betrayed. And not knowing in their conscious mind the spouse's actions at the time, or understanding psychology or dream interpretation or anything of that nature, that connection wasn't there. And so many times we know things subconsciously that either has not entered our conscious mind or that we've managed to sorry, still struggling with my words a little bit. But we can pretty much justify things, and I can't think of the right word. Anyway, we can make things make sense to ourselves. We can make excuses for other people. We can do everything in our power to keep that knowledge back here that we don't want to face, that we don't want to deal with, that we don't want to accept, from coming up here and being clear to us. And our subconscious mind wants to protect us. It does it in dumb ways sometimes, don't get me wrong. It's not the smartest thing, it's very functional, but it is also effective. And if we learn to listen to it, then when that thing pops up, instead of pushing it away or making excuses, if we start to look at it, and a big way of doing that, like I said, write down your dreams, Because the more you feel into it, the more that symbolism is going to start to make sense to you, or you might actually be able to connect a few things and start putting pieces together. What's going on with me? Especially when we have just an unsettled feeling. Something's off, something's not right. What is it? And the more we can tap into the subconscious mind and use it as a tool, because that's what it is, it's a tool. It isn't acclimated to our current environment, and so a lot of times the interpretation of the subconscious mind is a little rough, to be fair. But if we start to understand where these images are coming from and how they might relate to what's going on in our day-to-day, it can help us find solutions or figure out why we feel the way that we do about a certain situation, or dig a little deeper into something that's going on. So stop obsessing. Obsessing never led to anything but a headache. And I know I'm a Gemini rising. I'm a relentless intellectual nerd, constantly thinking about at least 6 things. And I have said before, I will walk into a wall because the only part of my brain that is still available for use is the part that's telling me to breathe. I've left it on autopilot for walking, navigating, anything else. It's too busy. And I just, fall off of something just because I'm so in my head. And that's why I'm big on grounding. I have to ground myself constantly. My God, if we didn't have gravity, I don't know where I'd be right now. So I am not by any means saying I don't obsess, just that I've become aware of obsessing and have found ways to bring myself back, redirect, stop walking into walls, because I kind of free up some of that space by letting it go for a minute, and then the answer comes to you. Like, I will think of the word that I can't think of at like 2 o'clock in the morning and just sit up in bed and go, oh, that's what I wanted to say. That's how our brains work. So we just got to play with them. We got to learn how they like to do things and then play with them and figure out, this is how I need to do this. But yeah, we can really come up with excuses to push away the things that our brain is trying to tell us that it has observed in our environment that we're not consciously aware of yet. And obsessing over something usually just keeps us away from the solution. So use some of those tools, use some techniques, find out what works for you. And like I mentioned in the book, there is no one size fits all when it comes to techniques for retraining our mind, for what works for us as far as healing. Everybody is different, and one size fits all, there is no one size fits all. Like you either look like an Oompa Loompa from Willy Wonka, you got camel toe, or you actually are the 1% of the population that is that size. Very rarely does one size fit all. So stop obsessing. Give your brain a break, because when you walk away from something and give it space, that answer comes to you. So on that note, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.